wish I could hear the recitation of the Qur'an. People say it is beautiful. One day I want to be able to read and understand the words of Allah.
Al Ishara have embarked upon the noble task of recording the first ever video translation of the Qur'an in British Sign Language. The project will commence in September 2017. We estimate the project to take between 5 to 6 years to complete and cost an estimated £2 million.
To all the signs you put in my way, I walked every day further and further away from you. Ooh, Allah, you brought me home. I thank you with every breath I take.
If we look at Islam in itself, Islam started when the Qur'an was revealed. And everything that came from it, from the Qur'an, was Islam. Now, if we relate that back to the deaf community needs something of that magnitude. They need the Qur'an to live an Islamic life, to understand what Islam is. They need the Qur'an to be broken down into verses, to words, understand what Allah is telling them directly.
The BSL Qur'an project is a mammoth task placed upon those who seek to gain the pleasure of Allah. Ensuring that the Qur'an is translated in the most accurate form is of paramount importance. For this to happen, we need to have excessive levels of scrutiny in place across all levels. So what we intend to do is have scrutiny panels who will form small subcommittees looking at the work and contribution made by individuals and groups and seeing how accurate and how clear the translation is and their input. It's about scrutinizing their input and ensuring that that is of the highest standard.
Before the inception of Al Ishara, there existed nothing to teach deaf children about Islam, Muslims or non-Muslims. Now, with deafness being the third largest disability of the UK, with 1 in 6 people suffering from some form of hearing loss, we thought this was unacceptable. At Al Ishara, we believe that Islam should be accessible to all. Islam is a religion for the whole of mankind. And in this day and age, with so many modern progressions and so many things that humankind have accomplished, we don't believe that Islam should be inaccessible. So Al Ishara have time and again risen to the call of duty to make sure this is the case. We were the first to provide specialist classes so deaf children can understand and learn about Islam through specialist techniques, using speech therapy techniques, using British Sign Language. We were the first when our deaf brothers and sisters didn't have access to Islam. We were the first to provide a khutbah interpretation service. When they wanted to know how to fulfill their obligations, we were the first to, in London, to offer adult Islamic classes.
This is no small feat. This is translating the words of Allah into British Sign Language. So ensuring that the accuracy and completeness of the Arabic Qur'an is maintained is of paramount importance. What we aim to do is produce a product, a professional product that will withstand the test of time, where even 50 years down the line, when you view this product, it's a video version of the Qur'an, when you view it, the powerful meaning, the powerful kind of impact that it has on deaf brothers and sisters 50 years on will be the same, if not greater, as it is now. And so this will require a lot of resources that are deployed on a full-time basis. It will require a lot of professionals coming together, working full-time over a period of 5, maybe 6, 7 years. However long it takes, we need to ensure that the professional standards and the delivery is maintained without compromise. Furthermore, to achieve this, it will require an estimated £2 million. Now this project is the ultimate sadaqah jariyah. And brothers and sisters who are watching this, I'm sure you've contributed towards masajids. I'm sure you've contributed towards your Hajj journey. All of those things are very personal. But this provides an opportunity for you to be part of something which is benefiting a community that is often neglected. Because if we don't come together and support this, we might risk our deaf brothers and sisters moving away from the deen of Islam because they were never told the words of Allah and the instructions that were given to mankind.
There's a big benefit for the deaf community because around the world they have their own language. Why not deaf community? They should have their own language, BSL or any other sign language. Qur'an translated into sign will be able to take it all in, and be able to feel it in our hearts. Also will benefit, understand everything. We need to understand our aim of our lives. We need to understand what's in the grave, the hereafter, why Allah created us. There's deaf community that have many questions and they need answers. And how they get the answers is through the Qur'an.
We aim to deliver this project through the formation of a specialist team with various experts involved in that process, coming from different professional backgrounds. This will include professionals who understand the linguistic nature of language, who have understanding of British Sign Language, who understand the Arabic, Quranic Arabic syntax. Put that all together and what you find is a team that has the credibility, the skills to embark upon this particular project. Then you also need a media team and a marketing team who will develop the video, the editing, the presentation of the final product. A person who is hearing has access to the Qur'an, whereas for deaf people we have no relationship. It's completely different, the words, the language. But to have it in our own language will enable us to access the Qur'an in British Sign Language, and I would understand and appreciate the depth. I would understand how and why I pray in the manner I do. I want to know the words of Allah in my own language. We will follow a phased approach in compiling the Qur'an in British Sign Language. We will start with the shorter surahs from the back, and then we will make our way towards the front, ending inshallah with Surah Baqarah. We'll start with the shorter ones because these are the surahs that you need in everyday life, in salah. So this is why the focus will be on that. There are 114 surahs of the Qur'an, and it makes sense that we start with the shorter ones. And the plan is to release surahs as they are being compiled so that the deaf community do not have to wait for the final product, but inshallah can benefit as and when the surahs are ready to be published. When I read the English translation of the Qur'an, I struggle greatly with understanding the words, and it's the same with Arabic. My challenge is not being able to educate my daughter as I don't have it in my own language. I need to understand the words and surahs. Having it in my own language will allow me to pass on the knowledge to my community, friends and family. I need to be able to understand the beauty of it. I also need to understand what will happen to me when I die. This is information in the Qur'an. I need to understand the Qur'an in more depth. What inspired us to go with the slogan "Move a Mountain" was after reading extracts from the life of the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And we find that during the Battle of Yamama, many of the Sahabas who are Huffaz, memorizers of Qur'an, were losing their lives. So Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu went to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, who was the Khalifa at the time. And he said to him that if we do not write the Qur'an down, we will lose the Qur'an. It will be lost forever. As a result, immediately Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was reluctant because he felt it went against the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why is it that we should do it when he did not instruct us to do so? But Abu Bakr, Umar radiallahu anhu, alhamdulillah, through consultation, managed to convince Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu that this was the right thing to do. So the task was given to none other than Zayd ibn Thabit. His response was, had you asked me to move a mountain, that would have been far easier than the task that you have given me. So it was very easy for us to find a slogan on learning about this particular story from the Seerah. And so there you have it. We need your help to move a mountain, to develop this Qur'an in British Sign Language.
It's the same in people from other countries. For hearing people, the Qur'an, when they read, they have a massive impact. In the Qur'an, it has many, many stories and lots of history. Things that we are not able to see. It's only Allah's word that He put into the Qur'an. So when we read, we take it all in. And a good role model and example for us is the prophets. There's many, many prophets in the Qur'an. Like with disability, we want to learn, we want to take it in. It really doesn't matter if you're deaf, if you're blind, it doesn't matter your disability. We want to know the stories and the situations, what happened. We need to know what to do with our lives, because really there's two pathways. You can either choose Allah's way, or you can choose another pathway. Which one? It's your decision. Also, the Qur'an is a blessing from Allah. Means we will have a massive impact and realize this is a blessing from Allah, and we, the deaf community, will know this is a blessing from Allah. Because people from other faiths, they like to learn about religions. They want to know what's the real religion. It's the same with other hearing people from other faiths. They read the Qur'an just to be curious, and then they feel a massive impact. So same with the deaf. If the Qur'an is translated into BSL, we will have a massive impact.
Okay, firstly, nothing happens without the permission of Allah and Allah's mercy. So we need the viewers to come together and make dua to Allah that He allows us to continue to do this project. Secondly, we need the viewers to actually spread the word about the Qur'an in BSL. We need them to tell the community, the other deaf members of the family or friends or neighbors that, look, this is happening, there's something there. Tell them about the good news, share the good news. And lastly, but again very importantly, without funds, projects like this cannot happen. So we need the viewers to come together, be it as a family, friends, or even as an individual, to make a pledge or make a direct donation even for a line to be translated to British Sign Language, a verse, or even a page. Think about what you're actually donating to. I mean, by donating towards the Qur'an in BSL, you're ultimately taking an answer with you to the grave. So imagine this situation where Allah asks you, you heard about the deaf community, about their needs, the fact that they don't have the Qur'an in BSL. What did you do when you heard that? What did we do? So by donating towards this, or even making dua, sincerely and just hoping that this happens, that's an answer for you to take to Judgment Day, inshallah.
Are you ready to move a mountain? The first ever BSL video translation of the Qur'an. Let's make history. The BSL project. www.bslquran.com.
I was so far from you, yet to me